Did you know you can build custom bundle functionality like this as a Shopify developer without needing Shopify Plus? Let me show you how. What's up, my nerds? It's Bozy, your Shopify developer freelancer from Germany. And today I'm going to show you how to build any custom bundle logic in your theme. The big hurdle with bundles is that you actually need Shopify Functions, so cart transform and discount, to make bundles work correctly. But Shopify Functions are only available on the Plus plan, or are they? You will find out at the end of this video. In this video, I'm going to show you with a real-life example how to create bundles for your client. And we're going to build this mix and match snack box bundle. First of all, I'm going to show you how I approach bundles in a Shopify theme as a Shopify developer, so you can understand the thought process and what bundles actually need to exist. Then we have two parts. First, we're going to build the actual front end, so a bundle page, bundle picker, so a customer in a shop can pick his own items that belong to the bundle. Then, of course, we're going to implement the actual backend logic so that the items in the cart get actually bundled, and maybe also a discount that belongs to the bundle. And of course, we need to do this with Shopify Functions, but without the actual Shopify Plus upgrade. Before I start, quick disclaimer, I'm going to use AI mostly for all the code I write in this video. So if you don't know how to use AI as a Shopify developer, you should definitely check out my video first and then come back so you can follow along with all the prompting and stuff. So now, without further ado, let's jump right in. How do Shopify developers actually need to approach bundles in Shopify? Bundles are products that contain a subset of children products. For example, we have 5 different snacks, and then we want to offer a box that contains snacks with or without a discount. So what you simply could do is just sell a fixed box, right? So for example, a snack box where all the items in the snack box are predefined. And actually, yes, Shopify already has a native app for this. With the Shopify bundle app, you can create fixed bundles. So that means fixed products with fixed quantities that belong to that bundle. And also the front end and logic is already handled for you. But what if the customer wants to do a dynamic choice before we actually know what he wants to put in the box? For example, like I said, pick the snacks for the box dynamically, or pendants for a chain, etc, etc. In that case, we need to create something ourselves because it happens dynamically in the storefront and is not predefined in the admin. So what is the logic behind it? We somehow need to create something in the storefront where a customer of a shop can add multiple child products into the cart, and then these child products get actually bundled into the parent based on conditions that we are defining. And the approach overall is fairly simple. We need to figure out which products belong to the bundle, define its boundaries, for example, 5 products max or a discount of 10%. Then create the front end for this picker and of course the back end logic. So everything works later in the cart and the checkout. So first of all, let's look at the actual setup in the admin so we can get all the data ready when we want to create our bundle in the storefront. So I quickly created this shop right here, and this shop has currently 5 products. So we have 5 different healthy snack bars basically. So now we want to offer a snack box where the customer in the front end can choose the dynamic content of this box. And since we want to display the bundle information somewhere, let's create a new product page. So let's create a new product and then let's call this snack box. And I quickly just created a random AI image for this. And the price for now actually doesn't matter because we use this product just to showcase all the information, but we don't actually use this product later in the cart. But for now, you can simply just put a random number just to prevent random adding to the cart. And there's like a price of 0. You can also check the continuous selling when out of stock. Now hit save. Now when I go to my storefront, we can actually now see this snack box. We can add it to the cart, which we don't want now because when we add it to the cart, just this snack box get added, but we don't know what's inside. So we need to fix this later. Now we actually need to store all the data somewhere for this product. So like I said, we need to know which products belong to the box. And then let's also define a quantity limit. So there's only 10 snacks in the box. And you can do this with different ways. So for example, you can create product metafields. So one meta field for the products, one meta field for the quantity, and maybe one meta field for the discount. So I would not recommend this because later we actually need to access this data via Shopify Functions. So the better way is either you create a meta field, and this is just bundle data. and here we have a JSON. So you put everything inside this JSON, all the products and the conditions. But there's also a better way. Let's create a meta object just for this config. So let's create a new definition. Let's call this bundle data. And first of all, we want to have a display name, so we just know to which bundle this belongs to. Then of course we need the products. Now for the type, let's use product variant, because this is important later on, because products can have multiple variants and we need the specific variants. Let's also make this a list of product variants. Then let's also say we have a quantity field. So this means how many items need to go inside the box. Let's use an integer. Let's hit save. Now after creating the bundle data meta object definition, we now need to be able to link it to the product. So let's go to the product meta field definitions, add a definition, and also call this bundle data. And here we just access the meta object bundle data. Hit save. And now we can go back to the snackbox product. And here we now have the bundle data. And inside we can now add a new entry for this product. So let's call this snackbox so we can identify it later in the backend, just as a display name. And now the products that belong inside are all of our snack bars. So these products are allowed inside this bundle. And then let's say quantity is 10. Hit save. And now we have all the bundle data inside our snack box. And this is super important because now we have all the data on a product meta field and we can use it in Liquid and JavaScript to create our bundle logic now in the front end. And that is what we do next. So again, let's visit our shop. On a normal product page, we just have the title, price, and the add to cart. And of course, when we click the add to cart, something gets added to the cart. Now, when we go to the snack box, what we actually want to achieve is to have a bundle picker. So a picker where the customer can select all the quantities for the snacks, and then not the actual snack box lands in the cart, but rather all the snack bars that got selected by the customer. So we can later bundle everything to the parent. Because like I said, now when we click add to cart, just the snack box get added, but we actually need the children. So let's try to figure this out. I already downloaded my theme, and now we're going to start our Shopify theme dev server with the store, mix and match video. If you don't know how to use the Shopify CLI to develop your theme locally, then check out my video and learn how to do it. So now we can open up our preview, and let's also open up the theme editor because we need to check how the product page is structured. Let's go to the product page, and since this is on the Horizon theme, we can see we have a product information, product media, and then the details, and here we have different blocks. So what I want to do now is create another block. And this block should display the bundle picker if the bundle data meta field is available. So this only shows for bundle products. Then of course we can use the data from our meta field. So we have all the products that are available for this box and the max quantity. And now we can simply use AI to create this for us. Like I said, if you don't know how to use AI as a Shopify developer, go check out my video first. So let's try to do that. I will write the prompt real quick and I explain to you the reason behind it. Alright, I wrote just this prompt. You don't have to do it this detailed, but since this is a more or less complex feature, I just wrote this initial prompt. So I want to create a new block for the product details section. What do we want? Then what this should do. This block should act as a bundle picker where a customer can define a quantity of given products that should be added to the cart. Important is that not the main product gets added to the cart, but rather the selected quantities of these variants. Just a small description of the feature. The whole data can be accessed via the product meta field custom bundle data. This is important to let the AI know where he gets the data from. Inside this meta field, we have a meta object reference with a name, product, and quantity field, still explaining all the data structure so the AI understands what he needs to do. The name is not important for now. The product field is a variant list reference with all the variants that are available to the bundle. The quantity field is an integer reference where we define the quantity that should be overall selected before add to cart is possible. No more, no less. Then of course the design should be the different variants with a quantity selector below each other. And really important, what I like to add is use the theme's given conventions, elements, logic, and design patterns to create this feature and only create new logic when it doesn't exist in the theme. I always take this to keep the code as clean as possible. And now we can just hit enter. And by the way, you can do this for any theme, so this doesn't have to be Horizon. All right, the AI stopped working and we now have a result. When we visit now the snack box, we can see this mix and match picker. I mean, you can work on the design. For now, this is just fine. So now we have these different items that belong to the snack box where we have the 10 selected, and we defined this in the meta object, as we remember. And now when we click through it, we can see, okay, X of 10 selected, and the add to cart only gets unlocked when we have this, and before we cannot add to the cart. So we can also change the wording here when it's not reached yet, then show another text, etc, etc. So maybe let's do that. And what I also want to do is we want to update the actual price that is the sum of all the selected items, because later when we do the backend logic, this will be the price of the bundle. So let's also add this as a prompt. So I say just change the text when not enough quantities are selected, and also the price should show 0 at the start and be the sum of the selected items when selected. AI has stopped working again. Let us check the result. So now we have a price of 0 initially, and now we also have this select X or more. When you click here, this gets reduced, and also the price gets added based on the children. So 49.90. When we click add to cart now for these selected items, we can see 10 get added to the cart. We have 4 of the dark chocolate protein bar and also 6 of the almond crunch bar, and the price is also correct. So this worked perfectly well. Let's also quickly check the code that got produced. So we have some changes in here with the product details, a new block, the bundle picker, and here we have some liquid. And because I said use the current themes, conventions, elements, etc, etc, this looks pretty fine. So there's nothing hard coded. We are using image URL, image tag, and snippets, and also the style sheet, which is fine. Then we changed something in the buy buttons. So you can go through these changes, but overall, this seems quite nice. Like I said, you also need to check what AI is doing. In this case, we don't go any further into this because this is up to you. Okay, perfect. So now we have this picker, which works perfectly fine, and all the children get added to the cart. And also when we now go to the checkout, we can see all these items in the checkout as well. Now there's just one problem, because we now have the individual children inside the cart, and we can manipulate these. So for example, we can add one, or we can remove something, and this doesn't fit the whole bundle logic at all. So in the next step, we actually have to implement the business logic so that the bundle is actually a bundle in the cart and also stays as this bundle, and also maybe implement a pricing logic for it. So for example, this bundle is 10% off the normal price, etc, etc. And to do this, we need to have a look at the cart transform function and or the discount function. What is the cart transform function API? When we go to the documentation, we can see the cart transform function API is there to modify the appearance of cart items, such as updating titles, images, changing prices, and bundling items. So we can use this API to tell Shopify, hey, these products belong to a bundle, and then Shopify can also display them as a bundle in the cart and checkout. So I won't go deeper into this topic because I will do a separate video about Shopify functions. So if you want to have a detailed video about all the Shopify functions there are, let me know in the comments. So there's a couple of things we can use. So we have an input where we can get some data, for example, the lines of the cart, and here also more attributes. But the important part is operations. So we can define operations if some items should expand. So this means one item expands into different line items, or lines merge. So different children merge into one parent bundle. And for our case, we need lines merge. Here again, merge multiple cart lines into a single line that represents a bundle. So how exactly can we now utilize the cart transform function API to create our bundle logic? As you can see here, we have an input, then the function run, and then a result, and the Shopify then injects the script into the cart and the checkout. When we go back to the lines merge operations, we can see that we need 3 things for a merge to work. So first of all, we need the cart lines, all the cart line IDs, then the quantities of these IDs that belong to the bundle, and of course the parent variant ID, which is the globally unique ID of the product variant that represents the collection of cart line items. So in our case, we need the cart line IDs of the snacks, then the quantities of these snacks, and the parent variant ID, which is the parent variant ID of the snack box. And of course, we need some kind of info to which bundle the cart lines belong to, because we can have multiple of the same cart line ID in the cart. And with a unique identifier, we can point that cart line ID to the bundle. And the best way to get this data is by using line item properties. When you go back to the input, we can see which data we have access to. If we go to the cart and then to the lines, we have access to attributes. And this is the perfect way to give the cart transform function all the input it needs to later create the merge operation by just getting the cart line IDs, quantities, and parent variant IDs from the actual line item properties of these cart lines. So in this case, 3 line item attributes would be really fitting. We need 1 line item attribute where we have a unique ID. So we can later point these cart lines to that specific bundle, because maybe there's multiple bundles in the cart and we need to figure out to which the cart line belongs to. Then a line item property for the quantity. Yes, we can read the quantity from the input, but also maybe there are cart lines of the same ID that don't belong to the bundle. So we need an identifier to determine the actual quantity that belongs to the bundle. So we're not just throwing all of the same cart line IDs into this bundle. And the third one is actually the parent variant ID of the snack box, because then we can read out the parent variant ID and give it to the merge operation. And of course, we can do more stuff. For example, we can give attributes to the merged item, a custom image, a custom price adjustment, or a custom title. But for now, we don't need this. We will later have a look at how to adjust the price, but the cart line IDs, quantities, and parent variant ID are necessary to create our bundle logic and output the right operations. So you would need to write a function to do this, but we have a big roadblock. Only stores on a Shopify Plus plan can use custom apps that contain Shopify function APIs. Unfortunately, we cannot do this because we are not on Shopify Plus. But there's a different way. Stores on any plan can use public apps that are distributed through the Shopify App Store and contain functions. So what I did is I created my own Shopify Functions app where you can create your own functions using a rule builder, test them, and then deploy them to your store. And it's free for development stores, so we can just use it to test our functionality. So to complete our bundle logic, let's download Nerd Functions. Let's go back into our store, into apps, and then visit the Shopify App Store. And here, just search for Nerd Functions. And here you can find it. Like I said, I have a basic plan and also advanced plan, but it's free for development stores. So let's install it. Hit install. And now we are in Nerd Functions. So Nerd Functions is specifically built so you can create your custom bundle and discount functionality with cart transform functions and discount functions. So let's create our cart transform function so our bundle starts working. Just click create cart transform and then create cart transform. And here I already have some templates: custom, mix and match bundle, and fixed bundle. And of course we want to have the mix and match bundle. So as you can see now on the cart transform page, we have some things going on. We have a function name. We can simply call this whatever we want. So mix and match bundle. And then we have a data access. So in the data access, we can define multiple things the function has access to. For example, cart attributes, product metafields, variant metafields, shop metafields, or even meta objects. You can build your functions based on these data accesses. What is already selected is the line item properties. So we can use up to 3 cart line item property keys that we can use to create our cart transform operations. And these are already predefined. So we want to use underscore bundle unique ID. So the unique ID for the bundle, then the bundle item size. So how many quantities from a cart line belong to the bundle, and then the parent bundle ID. So we can merge into the parent. Now we want to create cart transform rules. So we can add more rules, merge or expand, but we already have our merge operation in here. Let's go into this. So you can put a rule name. It's already predefined for this template. And the operation type is merge because you want to merge multiple children into a parent. Then of course we could define global conditions, but we don't need global conditions. So here you could just say, okay, if the cart total equals or is greater than, etc., but we don't need to use this. Now line matching. Identify which cart lines belong to this bundle. Only cart lines with the property bundle unique ID, if this exists, belong to a bundle. So it's matching the lines for the bundle unique ID, and also only merges cart lines with the same bundle unique ID. Then of course the merge configuration. So of course, what is the parent variant? So into which parent the children need to merge into. The variant represents the merged bundle in the cart, and the parent variant ID has to be the GID. So the GID is this. So we have GID Shopify product variant / and then we have to have the ID of the variant. So the source is already defined, line property, and the property key is the _bundle parent ID. So in this, we later have to put the actual GID of the parent variant. So our snack box. Then the component quantity per bundle. This is what I said. How many of each matched line makes one bundle unit? So for example, if we have 4 dark chocolate, it has to be 4. So we can route the quantity to this bundle. And we get this from the line property bundle item size. Then for now, we don't have a price adjustment. Of course, you could also say, okay, this bundle is 10% off, etc., etc. But for now, we don't do an adjustment. And lastly, we have a custom attribute. Add a custom key value attribute to the merged bundle line, so to the parent. This is because we need to have a distinctive bundle ID for the parent also. And then we say the key, so the line item property key for this parent is _bundle ID. And this is taken dynamically from the actual line property from the children, so the bundle unique ID. And we can also test this. So let's try to test this function in the test your function panel. This is basically a sandbox card. So let's add some test lines. For example, we have the almond crunch bar, berry bliss bar, and the coconut mango bar. And here we can put the line item properties. For example, now we just do the bundle unique ID is 111. Then the bundle item size. Okay, here we add 2. Here we add 5. And this is 7, so 3 more. And the bundle parent ID, we can also simply copy this, then remove the 3 dots. And now we need to get the actual variant ID of the snack box because this is only a default variant. Let me quickly find out the default variant ID. So it's here, variants, and then put it at the end. Let's copy this for all 3. And now the quantities, of course, has to be the same as the bundle item size. So 2, 5, and 3. So this is our sandbox card. Let's run the test. And as we can see, we have an operation. So these 3 lines got bundled into our bundle. If we remove, for example, the bundle parent ID, we run a test, we don't get an operation because it doesn't work now. Okay, perfect. So we can save this. And now what we have to do in the front end is, of course, add the line item properties to the card lines on add to cart. So let's jump back to our theme. And we can also go back into our code editor. And here for the AI, let's finish up the task. All right, I wrote another prompt. So we say on add to cart, I want to add 3 line item properties to all added children when added through a bundle picker. Then we have the _bundle unique ID, a unique ID for the bundle. Take the current time in seconds so it stays unique. You can use any other method for the bundle unique ID, but the current time on add to cart makes sure that it will be unique because maybe someone adds multiple of these boxes inside the cart. So this stays unique. The _bundle item size, the quantity of the cart line that got selected, and _bundle parent ID, the GID of the selected variant of the parent product. So the snack box, which is the product object of the current product page. We are still on the product page of the snack box, so we can simply use it from there. Now let's run it. And while this is working, I also have a setup guides button in here, which shows all the guides for the different templates. For example, mix and match. We have everything inside of here. And I also have an example on how to do it if you want to code it yourself. So just check the templates out and let me know if you have any problems. The agent stopped. So let me see what he did. So we can see he adds now the properties dynamically based on my request. And before we can run it, we of course have to activate the card transform function. Otherwise it won't work because it's saved as inactive. Now it is active. Now let's try it out again. Let's add our items. Now we add the children to the cart, but with all the properties. So the unique ID, item size, and the bundle parent. When you now hit add to cart, we can see we have the snack box in the cart with the contents. Let's hit checkout and see what happens in the checkout. Here we have this cool UI now. We have the snack box with the price and all the items inside. And we can also change the quantity. And of course, we can add another of these boxes in the cart. And now we have a different snack box because it has different contents than the one before. And the same thing again in the checkout. And with this, you have your whole bundle functionality intact without using Shopify Plus. So like I said, you need to make sure where your data is coming from, then create the front end, and then create your cart transform functionality based on the line item properties, because this can happen client side. And with line item properties, we can define our match operation by matching the lines to the bundle unique ID, having the parent variant, the quantities, price adjustment, and the presentation. Now, like I said, of course, you could also say, okay, this bundle should be 10% off with the price adjustment. So let's hit save and go back in here, reload, remove this. And now, as you can see, we have a price adjustment of 10%, because before it was 42 something. Now it changed back to this. Now we could also apply the price adjustment dynamically. So what we could use is other data accesses to actually configure the price adjustment percentage. So I created another product meta field, which is called bundle percentage, which is an integer. The only problem is that with a merge operation, we can only access the meta fields from the children. So we cannot put the percentage into the snack box, but rather have to do this for all the children. So when we go in here, bulk edit, bundle percentage, let's use 20 instead of 10, hit save, and then go back into our nerd functions, click on view, mix and match bundle, and now we can add the data source, so the product meta field. And here we have to put a namespace and key, so it's custom bundle percentage, add, and now we can use this inside our rule builder. So instead of the literal value 10, let's use the product meta field dynamically. Hit save, and now when we go back into our store, and you can see now we have an even smaller price because we are using the product meta field. Like I said, this is unfortunately only possible for the children, but it's important to keep the pricing logic in the backend. So don't use line item properties for this, because line item properties can be changed through the client. But to make this even more powerful, we can also use meta objects. So you could use the meta object of type bundle data, which syncs all the meta object entries for bundle data. Save for now. And now in the settings for the meta object definition bundle data, we could also add another field called percentage. And here we have an integer, which is the percentage. And then we can simply go into our meta objects entries bundle data and put inside the snack box 20%, or let's even do 50%. But now we also need something to compare which entry needs to be used. So what we also need to do is go again back into the meta objects definition, and here let's add the parent product. And this is a variant ID again for the parent variant. And then inside our bundle data for the snack box, select the parent product, which is this snack box. And back in nerd functions, let's go again inside our cart transform functionality, then remove the product meta field. And now we have the meta objects. And here you can see now a new field, meta object entry. So the connected entry is snack box. So you could use all entries and match it by the actual parent product. So the parent product is the line property of the bundle parent ID. It checks the property key of bundle parent ID, which is the GID of the parent product. And if the parent product is this, then we use that entry. Or you could also say just use the snack box, which is not dynamic, but you can also do this. And now inside our price adjustment, we can simply go to meta object field, and here we use the percentage. So hit save. Remember, we have the 50%. You can also check it with our sandbox, but let's go back inside our theme. And now we have 50% off by matching the actual meta object definition to this bundle. Last but not least, we can also use a discount function to give this bundle a discount. So let's go back to price adjustment. No, because we can also use discount to give this bundle its discount. Let's go back to functions, into our discount functions, create discount, and now let's use a custom. So we can define everything from scratch. Let's call this bundle discount. And here with any other discount, you can put the discount classes, the customer eligibility to markets or customer segments. We take all and combines with. Now you can add a new product discount rule. Let's say 10% off bundles. Again, global conditions. You can define global conditions, but we don't need this. We need to target lines. And here we need to target lines matching specific conditions. Let's add a condition. And here we can also use different values, or we can also use different data sources to define this. So here we can again use the product meta field, custom bundle percentage. And here we can say in the condition now, product meta field exists. All lines with this product meta field gets targeted by this discount. All units on each line. Then we have percentage. And here we can use the product meta field value of custom bundle percentage. So let's hit save and of course activate it. And now since we have the parent product in the cart, we can actually use this product meta field now on the parent. So here we have 20% still and reload. And now you can see we actually have a discount, like a real life discount for this parent product. Also in the checkout, we now have the bundle discount for this product. So as you can see, we can even use Shopify discount functions on any plan just by using this app. It's basically using Shopify scripts on a non-plus plan. That was it for the video. I hope I could help you understand more about how to build custom bundle and discount functionality. Just remember, you need to have a proper data structure in the backend for your bundle, then create your front end with AI or write it yourself based on this structure, and then create your backend logic with Shopify Functions and use nerd functions if you are not on Shopify Plus to get the benefits of cart transform and discount functions. If you have any more questions about this, let me know in the comments. I would be really happy if you would hit the subscribe button and follow my channel, because it takes a lot of time creating these videos, and I do this all so you get better as a Shopify developer and even make more money. If you want to follow more of my content and my story, you can also follow me on LinkedIn and my X account. Especially on my X account, I share a lot about Shopify app development. So how I built this app, how to publish it and how to market it. So if you're interested, go there and hit follow. I also have a Discord community and a Shopify newsletter where I help people and even put out more content. So also be sure to sign up for these. And of course, if you want to learn more, you can also buy my Shopify theme development masterclass, where I teach everything you need to know to become an expert in Shopify theme development. See you next time. Bye bye.